Hey, Evelina, how are you? I'm glad you're here.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning,
Good
Judge.
morning.
Morning.
Mr. Smith, is Miss Smith with you as well?
Not at this time, no.
Okay, all right, that's fine. All right, good morning, Evelina. How are you?
I'm okay.
All right, we're here today on the initial permanency hearing. We're conducting this through Zoom. We are live streaming, and I am recording to the Zoom cloud. I don't have a court reporter just yet today. Okay, we'll go ahead and take announcements.
Daniel Trout for the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services. Cassie Kopic is my permanency specialist. We're present ready.
Savannah Kincaid, I represent Kendra Smith. We're present and ready.
Stacy Zavala on behalf of Evelina, and because she's with us today, I would ask that we go off of YouTube.
I have no objection, Your Honor.
Alexi with Casa.
All right then, and Mr. Samuel Smith is present. Mr. Poole is not. Ms. Smith, Rena Smith is not present at this time. All right, a motion's been made to go off YouTube. Since the child is present with us to protect her confidentiality, we will stop the live stream and close the courtroom. I'll resume that as soon as we've completed.
Yeah, we just sent over a signed agreed order signed by Ms. Grant and Ms. Zavala. I don't know if we're going to see Ms. Grant, but that did get sent over to Your Honor prior to the hearing for signature. So I think we have an agreement.
All right. Well, y'all don't see any reason that we need a hearing then.
Yeah, we were just hoping if they showed up. I know Ms. Zavala had a request, and the social worker had a request of Ms. Grant to just make sure her client reaches out to speak with both of them, and that Ms. Zavala would be coming by to take a look at the kiddo.
Okay.
Yeah, just my usual, hey, I'm going to be swinging by. Please let me come by.
Yeah.
So, but I don't think we need a hearing.
Okay. Well, then that's great. I'll get the order and I'll get it signed, and then I guess Ms. Zavala, I'll see you back at 10:30.
Sounds great.
Okay.
I'll see Your
Thank
Honor
you very much.
this week. That's all I have right now.
Okay.
Bye, Jean.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Hello.
Yes, Ms. Sanchez, this is Judge Baker. They have presented the agreed order to me, and so there won't be a hearing this morning.
Okay.
So just be sure you stay in touch with your attorney, and she'll make sure you know there's the link for our next hearing, which is going to be on March 25th.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, ma'am.
Bye.
You're free to go. Appreciate it.
Okay.
We are live streaming, and Ms. Goodman is making our record today. Okay, we'll go ahead and take announcements.
Morning, Judge Eugene Graff and Katrina Sledge on behalf of the department, present and ready to proceed.
Stacy Grant on behalf of the mother, Jessica Sanchez. And I don't see her, Your Honor. Am I missing her?
No, I don't have her logged in.
Okay, thank you so much.
Stacy Zavala on behalf of Isabella.
All right then, Miss Sledge.
Hello.
Morning.
Good morning. I do want to say Jessica is texting me. I sent her the link, but she says she does not have service to call in or to get on the Zoom. So I asked her, is there somewhere she can get to where she can get Wi-Fi service, but she hasn't responded. So I don't know, but I just wanted to let you know that she just texted me and told me that. So
okay.
there hasn't been much progress made on this case, and it hurts my heart. Jessica, I have been able to make, and that's really just kind of popping in at her mom's house and finding her there. Isabella is still with grandma. She's doing great. Opportunity School. She's doing really, really great. She is a very smart 4-year-old girl with a bright sense of humor. Jessica has not started in any services. She hasn't started in any services. She has been provided initially when I made contact with her in January, before I finished the family plan. I provided her with the recommended service list so she can go ahead and get started, because I think that's so important for parents to be able to have that and get going before we finish the service plan. And so I gave her all of that. She had all that information. And then I later met with her again in February, gave her the family plan of service, reviewed that information again. And then I met with her again in March, reviewed that information again. And she initiates the calls, but there's no follow through. And I think a lot of that is because she does not have stability. She was working at Papa John's Pizza for a very short time. And she's no longer working there now due to not showing, no show, no call, no show. She's pregnant. And I saw her again on March 5th, and she did admit to methamphetamine use and marijuana use. I haven't been able to drug test her because of the inconsistency, but she did admit to ongoing usage. She says she's homeless, and that's part of the reason why she's using. I have talked to her about the Haven. However, she did the Haven earlier, maybe last year, the year before, and she did the long-term program and did she says, about 2 years, and was unsuccessfully discharged, and she has her reasoning and she will not go back to the Haven. I have told her about Center Core. She just don't want to, Judge, and I don't know what more to do to make her or to encourage her. I've texted, I call all the time, and last time I talked to her, I just told her, I said, if you're pregnant now, you got a baby, and you don't hurt the baby. Don't do it for yourself. Please do it for the baby. But I just can't get through to her. So I don't know. Grandma did go ahead and file through the AG's office, the Attorney General's office. I did reach out to Dad. Dad is Michael Powers. He is currently incarcerated with an expected release date of August of 2025. However, he says he has not seen Jessica or Isabella in 3 years. So that means she doesn't know him, doesn't have a significant relationship with him. And that's all I got.
So grandmother filed for custody.
Mm-hmm. Through the Attorney General's office, yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
And she did just text me, and she said, I just want to do.
What did she say?
She just texted and said, I just want more time, and I'll comply and do everything y'all are asking me to do. As of last week, I have been pretty much checking in with service providers weekly just to make sure I'm not missing nothing, I've sent her, because I know doesn't have, she's not real stable. She says she's homeless, so she's kind of going from house to house. So I have also sent her a text message with all the service providers and their phone numbers so that she has that access. And like the parenting, I did it. It's a virtual, so it's not something she has to actually go to. She could do it virtually. The substance abuse counseling is actually virtual as well, because I understood that, the struggle. She didn't have transportation. She has purchased a car. She did get her income tax. She told me that. Her income tax was like $5,000. So I don't know, but I know she has a vehicle now. So I've I've got some addresses for her. And so I've been riding around just trying to see if I can find her car at those addresses. And then the said boyfriend of who she may be pregnant by, she did give me his name. We actually had an open case on him as well for the same thing about almost. And so I went by that house and I've contacted that family. I know she's been in and out of that house. I've left my card, I've left my number. So she knows, you know, she knows we're looking. I don't know what else to do with her.
Okay, Ms. Grant, anything new to update?
Your Honor, I have not been able to contact Jessica. I don't have any updated contact information myself. She's not reached out to my office. I'd be happy to help her if she would reach out to my office, obviously. But I just have been unable to locate her myself.
Okay, Ms. Sledge, would you put in the chat what current number you have for her so Ms. Grant can just compare, make sure she's got whatever the current number is? And
Yes, ma'am. She worked 2 different numbers, so put both of those in.
okay. All right, Ms. Zavala.
Your Honor, I've gotten good information from Ms. Sledge. I've been able to talk with grandmother on the phone, gotten great reports. Due to scheduling issues, I have not yet been out to the home to see Isabella, but we are scheduled for Wednesday night, so tomorrow night. I anticipate, based on all the information that I've been given, that will go very well. It sounds like it is a great place for her to be. If anything comes up at that visit and I need some sort of hearing on that, I will be sure to set that. But I anticipate, based on my conversations and the reports that I've read, that will be fine. But
All right, well, I guess the important thing for Ms. Sanchez to know is we are going to set another compliance hearing on June 10th. But I guess everybody just, if you have contact with her, communicate that there's only one answer here, and that is to get herself in some kind of stable situation and, you know, get a shelter or get somewhere where she's got some stable housing where she could start actually working some services. And then I guess we'll see what comes through with the grandmother's case with the Attorney General. That's probably sounds like that may be the ultimate answer here, but she's got a little time left. So, we'll just continue the services as previously ordered, and I'll see everybody back on June 10th. Of 2025. Final in this case, we're conducting this through Zoom under finding of good cause and agreement of the parties. We're live streaming, and Ms. Craven is making our record for us today. All right, we'll go ahead and take announcements.
Daniel Trout for the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services are present, ready, Your Honor.
Bill Jackson on behalf of the mother, Bethany Barbary, present, and my client is not. She had signed up on a relinquishment that has been provided to Mr. Trout.
Jerry Morales for respondent father, Dusty Wells. Your Honor, he is in a treatment facility. He did sign a relinquishment that also has been handed over to Mr. Trout.
Stacy Zavala on behalf of the boys.
Okay, thank you. All right, Mr. Trout, who's your first witness?
Your Honor, before I call my first witness, I reached out to parties yesterday to see if there'd be any objection to asking the court to take notice of the affidavit of removal that was filed and the testimony from the prior adversary hearing in lieu of testimony from a investigator today, and there was no objection to my understanding. So I would ask the court to take notice of the affidavit of removal from the filing of the case and the testimony from that adversary hearing.
All right, counsel, one last shot. Any objection?
No objection.
No objection.
No objection.
All right, very good. Then I'll take judicial notice of the affidavit in support of removal and the prior testimony that was given at our adversary hearing in this matter. Okay, Mr. Trout, who are we gonna hear from today?
I call Michelle Silva, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Silva, if you'd unmute and raise your right hand for me.
Okay. Did you receive what I sent out as exhibits number 1 and 2?
Yes.
And can you tell me what those are?
They are relinquishment.
Okay. We'll start with exhibit number 1. Did the mother, Bethany Barbary, execute an affidavit of voluntary relinquishment on December 3rd of 2024?
Yes.
Have you had the opportunity to review that relinquishment?
Yes.
Did the mother sign the relinquishment?
She did.
Were there 2 witnesses to the relinquishment?
Yes.
Is it notarized?
Yes.
Has the department consented to being the designated managing conservator of the children?
Yes.
Was that filed with the court on December 4th of 2024?
Yes.
Your Honor, I'd ask to admit exhibit number 1, the affidavit of voluntary relinquishment that was testified to.
Any objection?
No objection.
No objection.
Our petitioner's exhibit 1 will be admitted.
Ms. Silva, is the department today asking to terminate the parental rights of Bethany Barbary as to the children?
Yes.
And is that based solely upon the affidavit of voluntary relinquishment?
Yes.
Exhibit number 2. Can you tell me what that is?
That is also a relinquishment for Dusty Wells.
Okay. And did Dusty Wells execute an affidavit of voluntary relinquishment as to the children on
Yes.
November 8th of 2024?
Yes.
Have you had the opportunity to review it?
I have.
Did the father sign the relinquishment?
He did.
Were there 2 witnesses to the relinquishment?
Yes.
Was it notarized?
It was notarized.
Has the department consented to being the designated managing conservator of the children?
Yes.
And was that filed with the court on November 12th of 2024?
Yes.
Your Honor, I'd ask to admit exhibit number 2 is the affidavit of voluntary relinquishment signed by Dusty Wells that was just testified to.
No objection.
No objection.
No objection.
All right, petitioner's exhibit 2 will be admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Silva, are you asking today for the court to terminate the parental rights of Dusty Wells based solely upon the affidavit of voluntary relinquishment?
I am.
And do you believe that terminating both parents, the mother and father's rights based upon their relinquishments are in the best interest of the children?
It is.
How are the children doing now?
The children are doing really good.
Where are they placed?
They're placed in El Paso with Brittany and John
Okay. And
Carter.
Is this family members?
Yes.
Okay. And all the children are placed together?
Yes.
Are all their needs being met?
Yes.
And are they currently thriving in that placement?
They are.
And they're happy and safe in that placement?
They are.
And you do believe terminating the parental rights would be in their best interest?
Yes.
And the department is asking to also to waive all other grounds except the voluntary relinquishment?
Yes.
I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
Okay, give me just a second. I'm trying to look at the exhibits, but my email wasn't connecting through. I just realized it hadn't updated, so I didn't have that in front of me.
Yes, ma'am.
Just a minute. I know we did genetic testing on him. What I was going back to look for too is had we adjudicated him at any time during the case?
Let me look back, Your Honor.
I'm not seeing that I did. And he's acknowledged in that in his affidavit of relinquishment that he's the father,
Yes,
but
ma'am.
I'm still just,
There was also in May 17th of 24, there were 3 different acknowledgement of paternities. I believe that are filed in the court. And then we did testing on Sebastian.
and we got those test results back, correct?
I thought we had.
I'm jumping back over there to look too. Sorry. See where we did the paternity registry search. Okay, see the acknowledgements.
I'm not seeing the paternity testing that came back. I'm not seeing that filed. I thought it had been.
All right, it was ordered May 20th, 24. And then August 5th, you did a paternity registry. You filed the certificate of paternity registry.
Yes, ma'am.
I wonder if he just never went for testing.
I can't remember exactly our conversation in November, but I want to say that that he took a sample while he was in jail, but
I thought he had too.
so yeah, I was expecting it had been filed and I just didn't go back and double check, but he had mentioned the testing. Can't remember specifically what he said.
I just know when he was in Randall County Jail, I've got a note that during one of our hearings, we ordered it. But he was in jail, so we had ordered it. I am not seeing where I previously adjudicated him anywhere. I'm wondering if he got moved. Because all right, I had a note that he got released in June. And then we hadn't had contact with him for a while. So I don't know whether we got him tested or not. Okay, that's fine. We'll deal with that.
Yes, ma'am.
He's essentially acknowledged in his affidavit of relinquishment, but he never did challenge it other than and I'm not sure he even asked for the genetic testing, Mr. Morales. I may have just ordered it because he was in Randall County Jail and it was a opportunity.
That's correct, Your Honor. At the time I was having difficulty getting a hold of him, and I was supposed to have a conversation with him about the adjudication, but I couldn't get a hold of him unless he was in jail, and so I think that's why we did it that way. And again, I failed to remember that part of our conversation, but I could have sworn he said that he took a sample while he was in jail or gave a sample. But yeah, he hasn't requested or disputed paternity to me at all.
I think I just ordered it on my own because we had 4 kids that were alleged and he was alleged on, and we knew where he was at that point in time. And so from looking at my notes, that's what I'm pretty sure. It's not that he necessarily requested it. I just ordered it. Okay. All right. Sorry to interrupt everything. All right. Mr. Jackson, you have any questions of this witness?
Briefly, Your Honor. Ma'am, you had testified that the kids were placed in El Paso with family. How is this family related?
So Brittany Carter is cousin to Dusty Wells. So paternal cousin.
Okay. All right. Very good. Thank you. Pass the witness.
Okay. And Mr. Morales?
No questions, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. Zavala?
I have no questions.
Okay. Mr. Trout, anything further of this witness?
One quick question, Your Honor. Ms. Silva, based upon the conversation we just had, the department also asking the court to adjudicate dad as father of all 4 children based upon acknowledgement of paternity and on his acknowledgement in his affidavit of relinquishment, and as to Sebastian based upon his acknowledgement in the affidavit of relinquishment.
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. No further questions, Your Honor.
All right, anybody else have any further questions of this witness?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
All right, then, you have any additional witnesses, Mr. Trout?
No additional witnesses, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, Mr. Jackson, anything to present today?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, do you rest?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Morales
I have no witnesses, Your Honor. I'd rest.
and Ms. Zavala.
No witnesses, I rest.
All right, thank you very much. And Mr. Trout, I don't think you said it, but do you rest?
I rest the close, Your Honor.
Ms. Zavala, do you have a recommendation to make?
I do, Your Honor. The boys are doing great. There were a few things about identification that have been addressed, and we're good with that now. They are families in the process of getting licensed to adopt. And I do believe that the termination of the parents so that that can happen is in the boys' best interest.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, this is really just sort of in an abundance of caution. Any objection if I take judicial notice of the 3 acknowledgements of paternity that have been filed with the court?
No objection.
No objection.
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 All right, then at this time, then I do find by clear and convincing evidence that it is in the best interest of all of the children to terminate the parental rights between all of the children and their mother, Bethany Barbary, based on mother's voluntary affidavit of relinquishment of parental rights to those children under Texas Family Code 161001 B1K, and the best interest Texas Family Code 161001 B2. At this time, I will adjudicate the alleged father, Dusty Wells, as the father of all 4 children, and I will establish the parent-child relationship between them. I do find by clear and convincing evidence that it is in the best interest of all of those children to terminate the parental rights between their father, Dusty Wells, and all of the children based on Texas Family Code 161001 subsection B1K, his voluntary affidavit of relinquishment of parental rights, and the best interest under 161001 subsection B2. At this time, I'll name the Department of Family and Protective Services as the permanent managing conservator, and I will dismiss all court-appointed attorneys after the de novo and appellate timeframes expire, with the exception of Mrs. Zavala, who will remain as the children's attorney and guardian ad litem. Really quickly, did I skip over the K grounds on mom? Ms. Craven, did I say I terminated her on the K grounds?
No, ma'am, I don't believe you did.
Said BK.
B1K?
Yes. But let me just double check real quick.
Okay. I just had one of those little hiccups that I can't remember if I.
Yes, you
I
did say
did.
that for the mother.
Okay. All right. I know I said it for the dad, but okay. Very good. Okay. Counsel, as always, if you're instructed to file a notice of appeal, please refrain from doing that until a final order is signed and adopted by the referring court. And be mindful that your de novo time frame does begin to run since I've rendered an open court. Okay, I appreciate everybody. Thank you all very much for your work on this. And for those still involved, our first review hearing will be April 10th of 2025, and that'll be on a 9 o'clock docket.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank y'all.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Judge, Mr. Trout and Ms. Zavala and I are in your next hearing. I don't know if she stepped out or not. No, she's still there. I needed to visit with you and the attorneys for the hearing coming up next, please.
Sure. We'll set up a bench conference. We're here today set for our
Sure.
final in this case. We're conducting this through Zoom under a finding of good cause and agreement of the parties. We are live streaming and Ms. Craven is taking our record for us today. Okay, we'll go ahead and take announcements.
Daniel Trout for the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services. We're present, ready, Your Honor.
Joel Jackson, on behalf of the mother, Serena Burks, we're present and ready, Your Honor.
Stacy Zavala on behalf of Zach.
Thank you very much. All right, Mr. Trout. Do we have an agreement to now announce?
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor. Per conversations with Mr. Jackson, my understanding, Mom is in agreement with the department being named as permanent managing conservatorship and Ms. Burks be named as possessory. We're not asking for any child support or medical support at this time, and still work with mother and child to try to get them reunited, Your Honor.
Okay. Okay, then, Mr. Jackson, is that you and your client's agreement?
Your Honor, that's my understanding of the agreement. I had a conversation with her yesterday, and I just asked the court to verify the agreement with her, please.
Okay. Ms. Burks, is that your agreement?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Ms. Zavala, is that also your agreement on behalf of the child?
It is, Your Honor, and I do believe it's in his best interest.
Okay, got just one quick question. So, and I know this is, you know, a moving target, but as far as access or visitation, do we have any kind of contact going on yet?
Ms. Bird, I believe there is some contact, Your Honor. I'm not sure to what extent. Ms. Bird, if you would tell us.
Yes, when I talk to Zach, he kind of switches back and forth. Sometimes he'll say he will call Miss Burks. Sometimes he will say, I don't have the number. I'll give him the number. I did ask him about a Thanksgiving visit, a Christmas visit. He did deny or turn down those visits, and just stated he'll call her. He misses her. But it is limited contact. I do try to encourage him monthly when I talk to him.
Okay. So do we want to just say that, you know, that any kind of visitation or access will just be as Ms. Burks and the child agree, you know, with the department's approval, something of that nature?
Yes, ma'am. I don't have a problem with that. I think once he is ready to fully commit to the contact, I think we are perfectly happy facilitating that and having that happen.
I agree. Yeah.
Okay.
And if I may, Judge Serena, if you're okay with that type of visitation language in your order, there are some folks that do that from time to time. However, what you need to know is that kind of language is not enforceable. You know, you can't require them to bring him to the table if he's saying, no, I don't want to visit Mom. And so I just needed to let you know that.
Okay.
Or with that being said, is this the language that you want to use? It's by agreement of you and your son in the department?
Yeah, I guess so. As long as we're working on something so we can get to that point.
Yes, ma'am. Well, if it gets to where the visitation's just not working at all, in my opinion, that's a basis to come back and modify that visitation if you need to. This is not written in stone.
Okay. But I'm willing to try anything. I don't know.
Yeah, it's tough with you know, a kiddo this age, 16-year-old, I mean, you know, it's hard to make them do something that they don't want to do at the moment, you know, but I think in this situation, if it's his idea, it might go over better, and we just may need to kind of slowly work into that. But, you know, it's not totally unusual, Ms. Burks, when we've got a teenager in care. They go through phases of not wanting communication with parents, and then they do, and then they don't, and then they do. And, you know, I know you're doing what you need to do, and you've been very cooperative. So we'll just, you know, we're still going to have hearings on this. You know, this won't be the last time you and I see each other. Won't be the last time you'll have the opportunity to raise a problem. Which, I mean, that's kind of the beauty of this in some ways, is that we will still be having these periodic review hearings. And if there's a problem or an issue we need to talk about, we can do it, you know, without you necessarily filing a formal motion or something. So,
Yes, ma'am.
you know, I suspect that's how we'll handle things as they come up. But,
Okay.
okay. All right. Okay, then, Mr. Trout, anything further?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Let me just ask, often, Ms. Burks, when we have parents that we're leaving in these cases, I often will leave their attorney involved. Mr. Jackson, do you think she needs to continue to have representation, or do you think she's good to be okay until such point in time comes where she probably needs a lawyer?
Well, in my opinion, I think that Serena will be okay. If she wants to keep me on, I'm fine with that. But if she wants to let me off and she gets into something that she thinks it's a concern, she's always free to call my office and I can help her.
And if we got into an area, Ms. Burks, where I felt like you needed a lawyer, we always look back to see who your prior attorney was. And, you know, if you still qualify, we would just reappoint Mr. Jackson, you know, as long as he's willing to take the appointment. So,
Judge, I was retained on this case.
oh, okay. That answers that. All right. I'd forgotten that. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Okay. So you know how to get a hold of him.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, then. Then today I will find that it is in the best interest of Zaquavian to name the Department of Family and Protective Services as the permanent managing conservator, and I will name his mother, Serena Burks, as a possessory conservator. I will approve the agreement for no child support or medical support at this time, so that Ms. Burks can continue to use her resources to work any services, or to possibly, you know, do in-person visits at some point in time. And those visits will be, as Ms. Burks and the child agree, as facilitated by the department or St. Francis. So Mr. Jackson, we'll go ahead and your representation will be deemed complete. And you will not be required to be at the next hearing unless for some reason Ms. Burks, you know, contacts you. But we will have our first review hearing on this on April 10th of 2025, and that will be on a 9 o'clock docket. So Ms. Burks, you'll get notification, excuse me, from Ms. Bird. Well, Jules, will you still have this case?
Yes.
Sorry?
Okay. All right, so you'll be notified about that docket and, you know, what time slot that you'll have on the docket, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, then. I appreciate everybody working it out, and we'll get the order put together and I'll sign it. And it can be for attorney signature only, Mr. Trout.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, then. Thank you all so much, and I hope everybody has a good rest of your day.
Thank you.
Now for the Department of St. Francis Permanency Specialist today is Jalissa Bird.
Stacy Zavala on behalf of Zach.
Ms. Bird, if you want to give us an update.
Yes. So Zach is still in the same placement. He's doing really well. I just recently talked to him. He was in a good mood. He's eating, sleeping well. We did talk about a plan for the future as far as, what he's wanting. He was talking about dating and just, typical things his age. We did talk about the friend, Miss Kiara Taylor, who was getting licensed. That is his primary goal, to be able to visit with her or live with her. She is working on getting licensed. She talked about, keeping the contact with Miss Burks. Zach is still reporting the same thing as far as he does want contact with Miss Burks. He does miss her, but he does not want to return to her home. We also talked about looking into a foster home instead of him being in the RTC that he's in currently. So he's at least being more open to things and more clear of what he wants for his future.
So
And
this,
oh, sorry.
I was thinking I'd read this Aunt Kyra. Is she truly an aunt?
No, this is just really a friend. He met her at a RTC. She was a staff there, and he would go with her and her son to sporting events and different things. And he's really built upon with her and talks to her and her son probably every day.
So is she, I'm thinking whatever, she's getting licensed to adopt, and
Yes. And since she is not considered fictive kin, we weren't able to place him with her until she gets licensed.
but are we still really looking hard at that?
Yes. She did have her mother got really sick around Christmas time. So it kind of postponed her home study. But she is starting that back up. I've talked to her agency as well. So she is still motivated, and Zach's pretty motivated. And just for a fallback plan, we have talked about a foster home instead of, he likes the RTC, but it's not ideal for our kiddos, especially with his age.
Okay. Well, the age old thing is it better to not move and then wait this other out and try to just make the one move, or is it better to get him out of the RT and somewhere else in the interim?
Right. And
I wouldn't really want, this close to the end of the school year, I wouldn't be in favor of doing any of that until summertime. And then he doesn't have to necessarily change schools for several months, so that buys us a little more time. So do we have any idea what kind of time frame we're looking at for her to get licensed?
my understanding was she just had her home study, but we did talk about looking at the summertime just because he is doing so well in school at the RTC, and they're pretty much finishing up in the next month or so. So I'm hoping by the summertime she does have her home study completed, and then if for some reason that just does not work out, then we hope to find a foster home. So our placement team is looking just in case.
Well, I understand you guys can't place because they're not fictive kin, but anybody know of anything that stops me from placing him there? If we've got a home study pretty much in the works and we've got background checks and
Judge, I'm sure it's probably the same. The only problem is if there's an unauthorized placement, she's not going to get the financial support that she would get if it's an authorized placement.
Sure.
And Venus or Jalissa could correct me if I'm wrong, but I can't imagine that's changed in the time I've not been doing this.
I don't think it has changed. I think that's exactly right. And but I don't know whether she's willing to look at that for a few months, let him finish school and then maybe do the placement. But if she's not licensed yet, I don't know, just tossing it out as an idea.
I know that he, of course, would be in favor of that, that is his focus. He does seem to have a realistic view of this is going to take a little bit of time too. So if it is much more helpful for her to be able to get that support. I do want to go back and hit on one thing. I knew she was in the process of getting licensed. I just need to double check my records. I mean, right now, we still have parental rights intact for Serena, correct? So we're not in an adoption type stance, and he does still want a relationship with Serena and wants, so one of my questions was, are we looking at just a long-term kind of PMC option? Does that speed up any of the licensing if we're not looking at adoption? Or has anyone talked about Serena, and is she willing to potentially relinquish for an adoption to happen? So it just seems like there's a few steps we got to figure out too in terms of where we're going for the long-term goal.
Yeah, and I mean, he's 16. And he'll be 17 in September. So, is this, I mean, is adoption really, is that really on the table, or is this would this be just a really good place for him to be and start preparing for independent living and adult life? And, they can certainly remain as support for him, or even if she gets licensed, then extended care. I mean, I think those things need to be talked about with her. And, what are the realistic goals at this child's age? So and obviously Miss Burks has got to be looped into that. So I'm seeing a meeting in your all's future. So I think the sooner, honestly, that we can have some meeting of the minds about that. Okay, she's logging in right now. The sooner we can have some meeting of the minds about all of that, then the better. So, Mr. Jackson, you want to put you in a breakout room with her real quickly?
If you don't mind, please.
Okay. Ms. Burks, can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Mr. Jackson's logged in. He does need to speak with you for just a minute, so I'm going to stick you all in a breakout room. I'm unfortunately going to ask if y'all can keep it pretty short because we've got a super busy day.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Room 1.
Thank you.
All right. Mr. Jackson, have you had opportunity then to visit with Ms. Burks? You're muted.
Yes, ma'am, I have, and I kind of explained to her in a nutshell what was discussed in court this morning, and that the child is doing really well and wants to remain with this aunt, and they're kind of motivated about a possible adoption. And I don't think that she's necessarily opposed. I told her that she might want an opportunity to talk with him to say, look, this is what you want. I'm not opposed to doing that. I just she doesn't want him to feel like she's just writing him off. And I completely understand that. And so she's doing it for him. And so to the extent that they can put Miss Zavala or Miss Bird, y'all are more than welcome to talk to Serena. I don't represent her. And I told her that if she needed to talk to me about anything, she could certainly call me at any time. But she understands the only way to make that happen is for her to relinquish her rights. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Okay. Well, I think the next logical step is to have whatever y'all call it. Used to be family team meeting, whatever we call it nowadays. There's so many different names of meetings, I can't keep them all straight. So, but everybody knows what I'm talking about. So I think we need to get everybody together, the sooner the better, and talk about what's the long-term goal here, and what does that look like, and who really, where do we want to head with this?
And I don't know that I'm clear on it anymore, but there's some benefits to the child about being adopted into this, and I wanted them to make that clear to her, what the benefits to the child are.
Sure. Okay. All right, well, that's what I think's next. I mean, we can't solve it sitting here right here today. We don't have the child, we get, but I think we need to just get everybody together and talk about what everybody really wants out of this.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Mr. Joel, I appreciate your assistance today.
Yeah. Happy to be here.
All right, then, anybody have anything further?
Nothing for me.
Okay. All right, then I will continue the department as permanent managing conservator. And I will continue, his current placement. I really would like for us to have that meeting before we start talking about moving him, doing an interim move. So let's see if we can't get something together before the end of the school year for sure. Okay, our next hearing date is scheduled for September 25th of 2025. That's on a 9:00 docket. And Mr. Jackson, we're going to remove you as her, make sure you're out of the system as her attorney of record unless we hear otherwise.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you all so much.
You bet. I'll see you at
Thank you,
11:30.
Okay.
Thank you.
We're here today on a review hearing. We're conducting this through Zoom. We're live streaming, and Ms. Taylor is making our record. All right, we'll go ahead and take announcements.
Daniel Trout for the department. Jaleesa Bird is my privacy specialist. We're present, ready, Your Honor.
Stacy Zavala on behalf of Zach.
Okay, and Ms. Burks is also logged in with us. We had her on her phone. I confirmed it was her earlier. She's with us. All right, then, Ms. Bird, I guess you're going to give us the update, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So Zach was moved to a different foster home. He was currently in a foster home, I believe in May. The home did actually close their doors. So he was moved to a different foster home at the beginning of August. So I notified everyone. So far, he's done really well in this home. He's with the Harper family, which the father of the foster home is a coach. So he's doing well in school, credit recovery, doing sports. So he's actually doing really well, seems really happy. This family has even mentioned, they would basically support Zach when he is older, as well as, if there was ever an option for adoption, that they would be interested. So right now he's just kind of bonding with this foster family and just really being a typical teenager and kiddo. And he's eating, sleeping well. I believe he was doing individual counseling. I'm not sure if he's still doing that. I know he's been pretty busy, but overall doing well.
Ms. Bird, what about contact and visit? I think it's on a report. He hadn't spoken to Ms. Burks in a couple of months. Have they had contact here lately?
Not to my understanding. When I talk to Zach, he mentions every single time he'll say, I'll call her after this call. And he does say he misses her. But he said when it comes down to actually dialing and calling her, he just basically can't get the courage to. So I just encourage him, if his counselor or myself can help, kind of get that first phone call going. I also mentioned that in his previous placement, she's called him. And so, but he does say he misses her and will call her. He just doesn't.
Okay. And I know some kids sometimes writing letters to him kind of breaks the ice for him. Is he willing to do something like that to try to start out? And have y'all discussed that?
We discussed it with Miss Burks, and she did write a letter, and he did end up moving placements. So as far as him sending a letter, we have not, just because of like his interest. But it's something I can definitely discuss with him. He definitely says he does miss her and thinks about her. So.
Okay. And when you say Ms. Burks wrote a letter and he moved placement, did he not get the letter or did it?
Correct. I gave her the address to the new placement, and I don't believe it was ever sent to that previous foster home. And then he just moved last month. So She does have that address as well, so she's welcome to send that letter. And so it just didn't get sent at the previous placement.
Okay. Anything we need Ms. Burks to do? I know she cooperated all through the initial case. She's still in Colorado?
Yes, to my understanding.
Okay. And they're still just looking to connect, just haven't made that yet.
Correct. And Miss Burks did state, if Zach had a home or placement that, she would just like to know how he's doing and stay in contact. So Ms. Burks has been very cooperative and understanding of the situation.
Okay. Is there any other family that Mr. Barnes has reached out to or keeps in touch with, or is he just kind of trying to get settled in where he is?
Seems like he's getting settled in where he is. He did say he talked to his older sister, who was adopted. She's planning to move to the Houston area. So he mentioned he would love to reconnect with her. And so that's the only family contact that he's had, or that he also wants to have.
Okay. Today you're just asking for the court to continue the PMC and placement and see how things move along.
Yes.
Thank you, Ms. Bird. Pass the witness, Your Honor.
Okay, I kind of want to know what Ms. Zavala's opinion is on this as well, but what if we let him kind of get settled a little bit better and then maybe set up something scheduled, either with a therapist or with you, Ms. Bird, or with Ms. Zavala or something where it's scheduled that they would have some phone contact, just maybe if somebody else was present to kind of help with the conversation and ease into that, it might be easier. I want him to adjust and get settled in before we start tossing something new into the equation. But, I would love for him to be able to maintain contact with Ms. Burks and even, Ms. Burks, if this ultimately ends up, if these folks are comfortable and he's comfortable and they want to proceed with adoption, obviously that's going to require, your cooperation in that regard. But if it achieves a, kind of a permanent family for him, an extra support system for him, then, he's 17. We don't have a whole lot of time. I know he just turned 17, but that year will go by in a hurry. So I think if we're going to explore it, we probably ought to be doing it here fairly soon. But like I said, I want to let him get settled. So I guess, Ms. Zavala, what are your thoughts?
I agree with that. And I want to say that Ms. Burks has been great in terms of keeping up and keeping in contact. And every communication I've had with Zach over the years, actually, he's spoken very positively about her. I think he does very much care about her. I think it's a great idea to do some sort of scheduled something. Now, I will say, he did not attend our scheduled visitation or Zoom meeting we had scheduled. But in setting that, Kelly got a great report from his placement, spoke to the coach, and if I understand correctly, he got to stay in the same general area, even though he changed foster homes. And so he got to kind of continue it in the same school path, with some of the same people he knew and has some of those connections. So I think that's been really good. All the reports I've gotten are good, but I have not gotten to speak with Zach himself for a while. But I think it'd be a great idea to schedule something with Miss Burks, because I think they're important to each other.
Yeah. Well, let's just say maybe by Thanksgiving, like, maybe a pre-Thanksgiving call or something, and then we could do something again around Christmas time and just maybe get him in just easy man. I mean, he's a 17-year-old boy, and, it's been quite a while since they've talked. And I mean, it's just, he's still a kid. So I think a little help with this kind of the icebreaker would be a good thing. And then I think it'll just happen, as they say, organically. So,
Okay.
are you okay with that, Ms. Burks?
Yes, ma'am. I'm okay with it. But I do have a question. If this family does end up adopting him, will I still be able to talk to him and stuff?
I suspect the answer to that will be yes. I mean, I think, like I said, he's 17. It's at that point, it's kind of I hate to use the word formality because that probably isn't all encompassing enough, but he will be an adult very soon, and who he chooses to converse with and have conversations with will be his decision, obviously, whether they adopt or not.
Yes,
But,
ma'am.
the adoption does mean, it means some things for him down the road as well,
Yes, ma'am.
and so, I really don't want to rule that out just because of his age.
Okay.
If it can happen, I think it would be great, but I'm sure all of that could be worked out. Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
And if I may add or mention, he has mentioned to me maybe in the holidays if he can come visit Miss Burks. So I definitely think he would be interested to stay in contact with you and even come visit you as well.
Okay.
And I just told him, well, you got to call her to visit her. So, so I can definitely help encourage that.
Okay. All right. Okay, then I will continue the department as permanent managing conservator, and we'll continue his current placement. And I'll see y'all back March 19th, 2026 on a 9:00 docket.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Hopefully we'll be well on our way to regular contact at that point. All right, thank y'all.
Thank you.
And Your
Thank
Honor,
you.
I am hoping Vanessa is out there for the next hearing.